Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. My name is Sheila Mwaniga. I'm so glad you're on this channel. If you haven't clicked subscribe yet, please hit subscribe and click notifications so you never miss an episode. And we do our best to upload episodes every Monday. As always, it's great to get your feedback. So if there's something you'd like to say about this video or something you like about this video, please comment in the comment section below. As I record this monologue, I have to take into consideration that we are still in the throes of a global pandemic. Life still has to keep moving forward, but life in the 254, especially if you're in one of the 5 counties that's going through a current lockdown, it just feels a little difficult right now. You'd imagine that going through this lockdown a second time around would mean we're used to it, that we've got the swing of it, that we've got the hang of it, but no, we don't. We're only human, and we had such great expectations when the year began. It almost feels like, was all that hope in vain? Sometimes I catch myself thinking about better times, about normal times, and I almost wonder what is normal anymore. Sometimes I feel like I can't remember what normal life looks like and feels like, but I have to keep trusting and hoping that things are going to change soon, that there's going to be respite, because let's just be honest, it's not easy. And this past weekend, law enforcement were on one of Kenya's highways, major arteries, really thicker road. And because of the curfew, they decided they were going to switch off certain cars and then leave them in the highway, parked on the highway, and they took the keys, which meant there was, cars behind that couldn't get through. And people were stuck in traffic for 2 hours, maybe even more. Certain ambulances were trying to get patients to hospitals but couldn't access the road. It was a nasty, nasty affair, and people suffered because of it. And to be frank, the curfew serves a purpose. Yes, we all know that by a certain time we all should be home. But the challenges in transportation, the challenges that people are facing right now, trying to make a living, trying to make sure that families are fed, it's a difficult time. It really is. And there was back and forth online about people saying whether it's a good thing, whether it was a bad thing. At the end of the day, people suffered. And a lot of innocent people were caught up in that drama. I pray that we don't go through things like this again. I pray for a break. I know you've seen these videos of business owners who are just posting themselves speaking about the challenges that they're facing. And it's heartbreaking. It really is. We can't be walking around. In fact, we're not even walking around because most of us are home anyway. It's very sad and very wrong to imagine that it's business as usual. If your business is thriving, good for you, but spare a thought for someone whose business isn't working, whose life has been turned around and they just don't even know where to begin. It's tough times. From the economic point of view, it's not easy at all. And we've got to do our best to try and help where we can. And I know it sounds like the right thing to say, but then ultimately we all have to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, are you in a position to help? Are you able to do something? If your answer is yes, please don't be silent. Please don't say, I'll do something tomorrow or the day after. Do it today, because somebody needs today. Maybe today is all they have. Maybe today is all they're thinking. If something doesn't happen today, then that's it. Stand in the gap for someone where you can. I also want to take this opportunity to just think of the families that have lost loved ones. A friend of mine called Kevin Mochiro posted on one of his socials, and he said, every week now he's receiving messages about people who've lost their loved ones, and there's a fundraising. And this is nothing new for all of us as Kenyans in the Kenya we're living in today. And this is as a result of the pandemic. Families are struggling financially, and then a loved one contracts COVID and is hospitalized and then loses their life. You're left with a hospital bill. And that's on the bad side. There are also those who've had loved ones in hospitals who've been released, but they're still struggling to find funds to pay the bill. And it's hard. But whatever it is that you can spare, I am asking, as a Kenyan, as a human being, whatever you can spare for somebody. And it's not about big monies anymore. It's whatever little we can all pull together to try and help each other. That's as good as you can do, and that's perfect. Let's all do our best to stand in the gap for people who are in need of funds to lay their loved ones to rest and to assist their loved ones return home. And in that thread, I think of Evangeline, one of the ladies that I spoke to last year, who had contracted COVID and was placed in home-based care. And she spoke to us about that experience and how it motivated her to start a WhatsApp group to help people who've been diagnosed positive to calm down, to find ways to relate in terms of speaking about what they were feeling and finding advice, talking about medication. She started that WhatsApp group as a support group for people who tested positive for COVID so that they wouldn't have to face the stigma and they would have a safe space to be able to talk about their experiences, what they were feeling, and to also encourage and support each other. Now, Evangeline spent all of last year in isolation due to an underlying condition. And sadly, this year, her father passed away because of COVID. She sent me a flyer, which she allowed me to share with you. And she's looking to raise funds so that they can bury Mzee as soon as possible. And for every day that he is still in the hospital, the bill continues to accrue. Now, Evangeline is just one of many who is facing this very difficult situation. There are fundraisers that are happening everywhere. And it can feel overwhelming because you have a little. We all have a little. Yet that little seems to have so much and so many demands on it. But we have to believe that, you know what? If you'll do something, someone is going to do something for you. So whatever you can spare, whatever you're able to do, if it's not financial, maybe it's a prayer, then give that, but give something. Because these are such, I can't even find the right words to describe the times that we're living in and the challenges and the difficulties. But we've got to help each other. We've got to support each other where we can, how we can, because it's the only way we're going to get through this. What good is it if only one of us survives? That's not a life. We've got to pull each other and make sure as many of us cross over to the good times, because they've got to be good times. There's got to be good times that are ahead. It can't always be like this. There must be something that's going to turn things around. And yes, there's vaccination, but that doesn't mean that you go and throw caution to the wind if you've been vaccinated. It means you work extra hard to ensure that you stay safe, that your family stays safe, that your community is safe. Let's do our bit. Let's do what we can. If we follow the protocols, if we do our best to keep each other moving forward, then we've got a hope and we've got a chance. Stay safe. I know I've been promising season 9, that's still in the works. The challenge with putting together a new season is that in the past, with every season, we had locations we'd go to. We would record lots and lots of interviews with different guests over the course of 1 or 2 days. But now, because of the COVID pandemic, the safety protocols. We cannot go to a location and record because most places are closed. And then you have to ask yourself about the safety of your staff and the safety of your guests. So it's going back to the drawing board and saying, yes, we're compiling these stories, but how are we going to make sure that everyone is safe as we package these stories to share with you? We're still looking for those stories to share in case you know someone who's got something to put on the table that will encourage, that will inspire looking at life differently, that will inspire a feeling of love for the life that you live, love for the person that you are, and most importantly, growth, something that's going to teach you from somebody's life experience. If you know that and you've got access to that and you are that, please send me an email to sheila@rembesha.co.ke or contact me on any of my social media platforms, because that's what I want this channel to do, to teach you, to help you live better, to help you grow, and to help you just love the life that you're living just a little bit more. Please send those to me, and we're putting those stories together and figuring out the best way that we can put together that season and share it with you, even as we update on information concerning the pandemic as and when it occurs, especially in Kenya, because here is where we call home. And everything now revolves around what's happening next. Where are we here? So we'll be sharing that information with you, even as we come up with ways to tell these stories that need to be told. I've got to say a big thank you for your support and for your encouragement. I know you know how difficult it is, the times that we're living in. Thank you for your words of encouragement and love, and I'm grateful, truly, truly grateful. So in all that you do, please stay safe, observe the protocols, and live out loud. Please live out loud. Don't forget, you're still here to live. And as much as it's a new normal and it's different and it's difficult, you still gotta live and live your best life. Sawa, aya. Until next week, stay safe. Live out loud.